Hello, I'm Emily from the Economic Tutoring Center, and today we're going to work on long-run average total costs and how having different economies of scales affects this situation. So be sure to remember that teaching methods and notation varies from professor to professor, so before you use any of this exact notation, speak with them as well. Alright, so when we talk about long-run average total cost, it's a bit different than short-run average total cost. And that's because in the long run, all of our costs are variable. So our fixed cost has now also become a variable cost. And this changes the way the graph looks. So today we're working with long-run average total cost and different kinds of economies and how different firms operate under different conditions. So we have this black line right here, which represents the barriers for what we're going to discuss. And each of these blue lines represents a different economy of scale. This first one is called Economies of Scale. So I'm going to go point to that. This middle one is constant returns to scale. And this last one is what we call diseconomies of scale. All right, so what does this mean? Well, an economy of scale means that as our quantity or our output is increasing, so as our output is increasing, as we move along the x-axis from left to right, our cost is decreasing. So as we make more, if we were, let's say, at this output, when we make more, when we move to this output, our output quantity is increasing and our cost is decreasing. So in an economy to scale, our long-run average total costs are decreasing as our output increases. In constant returns to scale, we're looking more along this middle portion of the black line, where the slope is very close to flat. And this is because when our output is changing, we're thinking that when our output is changing, our average total cost is remaining constant returns to scale. And so we operate more in this area. So when our output increases, or quantity, there's no change in cost. And for the final one, in a diseconomy of scale, when our output increases, our cost also increases. So looking around here, as our output increases from here to here, which are just hypothetical points, our cost increases. So just one last time, our long-run average total costs are increasing when our quantity is increasing. So this one is they're both moving up, or they're both increasing in a diseconomy for scale. Now one last idea for us to understand is that if we're trying to figure out whether or not a firm is operating as an economy of scale, in constant returns to scale, or in a diseconomy of scale, that we can actually find this out from numbers. We were told that as our output was increasing, our average total cost was remaining the same. We would just have this scenario with no change in cost. That's affiliated with constant returns to scale. And finally, we were told as our quantity was increasing, our costs were decreasing, our average total costs, not just total, but average total costs were decreasing. We would know that we were going increasing in quantity, decreasing in cost, economies of scale. So the best thing to work on now after understanding how the graph operates is how to figure out a firm is operating under which condition from understanding the relationship between average total cost, long run average total cost, and output. Thank you. All right, and that's all we have for today. If you need any more help, be sure to come to the Economics Tutoring Center on the second floor of the VA building. Have a nice day.